So I had a few people ask about getting plans or viewing a build of some sort on this Cessna 182 to 185, the Topflite conversion. If you haven't seen the other video, give that a look on the Fly Builder channel. But I thought I do have photos of when I built it a year ago, so here we go. So here you can see the gearbox that I installed, which is different than where they have it. You can see it relative to the bulkheads. Feel free to pause these photos, of course, along the way to figure it out. But that right underneath that platform there is where the gearbox lives to be scale. And you can see how I modified bulkheads and whatnot. You can do it however you like, but that's how I did it. So yeah, I just threw all these photos in because I had them on my phone. Well, I mean, these are just interior wing shots to show wiring and stuff, so I knew where it was. It's kind of like when you build a house, you want to, film all your wires and your walls before you close them in, kind of thing. So that's like the nav light wire, and then I got tape for the servo wires. None of this is a mystery to you folks who build model airplanes, but in case you're wondering what the inside of a wing on a Topflite Cessna 182 looks like, well, it looks like this. And we're almost done with the wing stuff here. I will tell you to get those little blocks in the right spot for your struts. You don't want to miss that. Okay, so this next photo is, you can see the bulkheads and how I used the existing bulkheads and just made them longer, taller to run new stringers. And I also put a bulkhead right next to the back of the wing for the stringers. Lay this out on the paper on your plans first, and then just notch them accordingly for the stringers. There you can see the stringers on there. I suggest you freeze that photo and take a quick. Actually, there's another one coming up here, I think, that's even better. Let's see. Yeah, that one doesn't help much. This next one will show you pretty good shot of, there you go. So you can see how I integrated the stringers with the back, where the back of the wing is, and how it stringers integrate over the top of the horizontal stabs next to the vertical stab. So it turned out great. You can cheat, do whatever you like, but here's the way I did it. So here's the sheeting. I will tell you to get this balsa wet to make, especially these tight radius turns like the modification where the Omni window was. That is a big bend. So you're going to want to really soak that balsa and just do it slow. Otherwise it's going to break. You're going to do it over several times. You can see the beginnings of the motor mount there and the motor. Here I'm fitting the wing onto, with just kind of getting everything kind of roughed in. Some of these photos are out of order. I apologize. Here's the vertical stab, I believe glued and mounted. I hadn't filled the gap between it and the fuselage yet, but so much sanding here, people. You need to do a lot of filling and sanding if you want to make this look good. Just a shot of without the dorsal. So again, this is out of order, but you can see I left it flat where the dorsal meets it. And there's the dorsal on there. Notice the horizontal stab elevator tab is square. That's a boo-boo. I'll get to that in a minute. Here's an elevator covered. I just took a picture of it for fun. I don't know why, but there's the mechanism that moves the elevator. You're going to stick all those little stiffeners on these control surfaces. Take you forever. There's the rudder. You can see the filler used. That stuff is killer. You want to use that light balsa filler. Now here's the wrong elevator tab. I built it initially. I didn't realize it was different. And then a buddy of mine who owned a 185 was like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "Oh no." So I fixed it right here. You can see where I just re-glued that on and puttied it and cut it. You got to do what you got to do. But boy, I'll tell you, that really makes it look different, makes it look better. So here's just a shot of the thing kind of put together. This plastic they give you in the kit is really neat, and it CAs together really well. And you can sand it, and paint sticks to it well. Take your time, and you can make it look pretty darn good. I was very happy with the way it came out. I bought those lights that fit right in those landing holes. This is the stinger on the back. Again, it's two halves. This was kind of a pain to put together, but You can get it look pretty good. Here's the wing before I covered it. You can see the filler. This just was a tremendous amount of sanding. Just working out little ripples and ridges and filling, and just play with it for a day or two until you get it just right. And this was, I think, right before I covered it. The dust off of it is key. Use a blower and a lint-free dust thing, get it all off. Here's the one piece of Ultra Coat that spans the whole top of the wing, and you can see how wrinkly it is because I've just got the edges done right now. Do this with a heat gun after you've sealed the edges. Don't hit the edges with your heat gun, or that will loosen them up, so don't do that. Now here it is after it's shrunk, okay? And you can see that with a heat gun, you can do wonders. So be careful, but it's the way to go. Here's that Dual Sky 515 kV. I said that wrong in the video with some standoffs. So you'll mount it something like that, or however you want to. There's a shot of, I don't know, test fitting the wing, I guess I was, and blending in that fuselage so it was going to come together right. Here's a shot of the finished wing before I put the control surfaces on. Now here's a shot of that rear window situation. Remember, the same windows, we're using the same windows from the 182 kit. We're just putting them on the opposite side where they're supposed to go, which means they get flipped over and they look like 185 windows, or they actually look like 180 windows. They're a little shorter. You can see a little piece of filler I had to put below it, right? You can see where it would have gone. You can also see where the Omni window would have been. This next photo is an actual full-scale 185, and you can see how much farther back the window goes. So there you can see that whole back, those two windows in the back is what I'm going to create out of one window. And you can see the bar is kind of right underneath the trailing edge of the flap there. So the windows are just as big as they are. There's not much you can do about it. There's the stiffeners on the control surfaces. Tape things in place. Make sure everything looks good before you get too far along. More test fitting, and so here you're covering the fuselage. That's how I did it, and I tell you, it was a dream. I had never had more fun covering something than this airplane. So that's the way I did it. If you try to go one piece all the way around, it's virtually impossible. But that top, I think I have a better shot of the top here in a second. That's a challenge. Right here, look at those wrinkles. Those all came out with the heat gun, okay? I think I got another shot, but maybe I don't. But seal the edges real good, and don't hit those edges with your heat gun, because that will loosen it and it'll pull it away and you'll get a crooked seam. Here's a shot of the airplane I actually stole most of the design off of. This was online. It's just some 185 that was for sale on Trade-A-Plane. So find an airplane like that and copy it. That's what I did. There I shrunk it. I didn't have any do-overs on the white part. I did on the blue part. The blue part is, especially those little lines, they just take a lot of time. You want to use really low heat so it doesn't shrink. Do not shrink that on when you put the blue stripes on. When you put the bigger blue piece on, you're going to shrink that a little bit. But try not to overlap Ultra Coat over Ultra Coat as much as you have to. I think I overlapped about 1/4 inch at the most when I did the blue over white. 1/8 inch is even fine if you just don't hit that seam with hot heat. Because if you hit the seam with hot heat, it's going to shrink, and then you got a crooked line, and it just doesn't look good. So anyway, sorry, I apologize. There's too many photos of this, but again, I think some of these are out of order, but that's okay. So here you can see the finished blue. Those are the decals that come with the kit. They're kind of translucent. You'll see the blue through the white a little bit, which wasn't great, but I didn't go pay for new decals. I could have, but and there you have, and I'm not quite done yet. There's more lines that go above that, but that little tiny 1/8 inch line below there, boy, that takes a while. And you got to cut that with a long straight edge on a long table. Cut your Ultra Coat, and then take that little sucker and stick it on there real slow and take your time. It does take a long time. There's all the lines on there. So you can see they're different thicknesses too. This is a Cessna paint job, by the way. This was the Cessna factory. There you can see the covering under the window that I haven't painted black yet. And now we're kind of getting close to being done here. Still haven't painted that black yet. I just taped, or did I? No, I did. I did glue this window in place. I take that back. Some windows I don't glue in place just because I want to be able to take them off again. You can use cellophane tape, and if you hide it well, you can't even see it. I have a lot of shots of the tail of this because I was documenting stuff, but there you can see the tail wheel. Don't have the struts on there yet, but this was getting close. Still haven't painted that black yet. I guess I did that last. There was fitting the cowling over the motor. You want to get that just nails. You want that spinner to be real centered in there. Here's a shot of the the inside. If there's anything in there that you find useful, you can see my blind nuts for the gear. I apologize for so many shots of the tail here, but so I've been asked what gear I used, and I got it off Amazon, and it's no longer available. It's funny, the gear that I bought is no longer available. The irony of that. Hard to find one that's scale looking the right size. Just giving you every angle of the covering and this particular paint job anyway. Now here's coming up as a shot of the insides again. There's a BEC in there in the receiver, a couple servos. There's the lighting, the Unilight controller sitting there. I had not put the gyro in yet. I do fly this with a gyro. It makes it fly so scale and so smooth. That actually lives in the middle. You can see the gyro location on the video. This is blurry, but I just put it in here so you can kind of look up and see how I did that bulkhead around the gearbox. There I painted underneath the window, and I also put some black on that, above where the pilot's head would be hitting, because that's, supposed to not be there, but these are the scale details I think just make all the difference in the world. The little handhold and the steps. If you can find the time to do that, it just looks fantastic. And then drawing the doors on there with a Sharpie and putting those little decal hinges on there, stuff like that really, really helps. And here's a final shot of another plane I did, and that's the end of the video, folks. I hope this helps. If you have any questions on anything I did, feel free to ask, and I'll message you back. Have a great day.